All right, so in the chat, I'm sharing my contact info and a link to our playlist for the month if you want to flow with music. And our theme today for our quick flow is kind of peeling away the layers. You could also think about a snake shedding its skin. So we've got some peeling actions, and we'll hopefully leave feeling kind of like a new version of us is emerging for the afternoon. So we will go ahead and get started on our backs on the mat, prepping for our low bridge as we always do in our lit flows. If you're using that playlist, you can go ahead and start it as soon as you're ready. It will last the whole 30 minutes, so no need to wait or anything. And once you find yourself on your back on the mat, you can plant your feet on the floor, let the knees point up to the ceiling. Those legs will be hip width distance apart. So nice and comfortable in the knees. We don't want them crunching or anything. And let's just close our eyes for a moment and take a big breath to kind of enter the space. So inhale through your nose, feeling your ribs expand. Exhale through the mouth, really forcing the air out there and pausing on empty. And inhaling when you're ready. You can flutter those eyes open. We'll bring the palms flat to the floor. Lengthen the tailbone towards the heels and then lift up into your low bridge. Not going super high here like we're arching the back, but we're just trying to get our glutes to start waking up so that we can use them throughout the 30 minutes here. And envision here, almost like your ribs were pulling away from the pelvis, peeling some space into the side of your waist area. And then you're welcome to bring a little pulse into your bridge here, just lifting and lowering about an inch. If you don't feel like doing that, just stay in that stable position. We'll press the palms up to the ceiling, nice and flat. Open the fingers wide here, like you were spreading the webs in between the fingers. And then take the left hand to the right fingers and pull back to start opening up the forearm and the wrist on that right arm. Of course, if you'd like, you can reach this arm over the ear, starting to open up the shoulder. You'll feel it a bit underneath the armpit there. And at the same time, keep lengthening that tailbone towards your heels. So that's going to keep the low back nice and lengthened and relaxed. And we'll switch hands, pressing the left palm up to the ceiling like you're carrying the tray and pulling back on the fingers with the right hand. Forearm is opening here. And then if you'd like, you can always reach that arm a little bit more overhead or even on the diagonal, starting to open up the shoulder more. And we'll bring it back to vertical. Just shake out the wrists, kind of imagine you were like a dog shaking off some wetness, but we're going to shake off anything that's stagnant. And then slowly descend the spine, taking it vertebrae by vertebrae, lowering until that pelvis meets the floor. And you can just toggle the knees once you land a little bit side to side. You'll get a little baby glute massage. And we'll warm up the core now. I'll show with the legs extended up. If you want to keep the feet flat on the floor, that's a great alternative. So you pick your legs there. We'll interlace the hands behind the head and the elbows point up to the ceiling. Inhale here. Exhale, force that air out and you'll peel the head and the shoulder blades off the floor. Really feel yourself anchoring into the back of the thoracic spine and the back of the pelvis. I'm just letting one more person in the room. And you can inhale, lower the head and shoulder blades. We'll take that same variation once again. Exhale, peeling the head and shoulder blades off the floor, anchoring through the back of the pelvis and the back of the rib cage, and then lean the skull back into the hands. Inhale, lower head and shoulder blades to the floor. We'll start our optional add-ons here. So take what works for you, leave what doesn't. Exhale, head and shoulder blades lift off the mat. And you can add a twist to the left, just moving through the rib cage so you stay off that left shoulder blade here. We'll reach the right arm across the left thigh, getting a bit of a swipe across here. And then the right hand returns back to center, inhale, lower. Exhale, head and shoulder blades lift, peeling off the mat there. Option here is to add your twist to the right, staying off that right shoulder blade, and then swipe the left arm across the front of the right thigh. Reaching on a diagonal, hand returns back to the center and inhale, lower. Final option here, exhale, head and shoulder blades lift. Maybe you twist to the left here, and that right arm reaches on the diagonal. And the next option is to reach the left arm on that same diagonal, and then try to bring those right fingers to meet the left. So you'll peel up an inch more, feel that work for a moment, and then hands return back to center and inhale, lower. Last time here, exhale, head and shoulder blades lift. Option to twist to the right, really getting warm in our core here. Left arm swipes across, and then you can reach the right arm on that same diagonal and try to peel up a little more to bring those left fingers towards the right. Hands return back to center. Inhale, lower, and you can just draw those knees towards you. No need to force them too tight. Or you could even grab the tops of the knees with your hands and let them kind of relax like sandbags away from you. Just taking a moment to release that work in the core. And then we'll make our way up and around for table, or as we call it, quadruped in LYT. I'm just gonna lock our Zoom room here. So coming on to shins and your hands. All right. Lining those wrist creases underneath the shoulder joint, knees under the hips, and we'll do our classic thread the needle move, and this is going to come back in our quick flow today. We'll peel the right arm up towards the ceiling, adding a bit of a twist through the rib cage, and then exhale, thread the right arm under the left as that left elbow bends, and the outer right shoulder lowers towards the floor. Peel it back open, pressing into the left arm, right arm reaches up. Opening for your twist, and exhale, thread it under, keeping a lift in the low belly as you descend here. Extend the arm up. Ooh, getting some opening in that thoracic rib cage. It feels good at this point in the day. And then pause there this time. You're welcome to walk the left fingertips forward, tenting the hand off the mat if that feels okay. But everybody keep pulling the front of the rib cage up away from the mat. You'll feel that stretch in the right shoulder. Left hand returns to the mat. We'll press ourselves up and return to our neutral position. Both hands down and head to the other side. So left arm peels off the floor, peeling off some, anything that's stuck, and then exhale, thread that arm under the right. That right elbow bends to help you descend down. Press into that right hand and we'll peel it open for our twist. Exhale, thread it under. Peel it open here, holding onto the front body, avoiding any sagging, and thread it under. Last time, we'll pause for a moment. Check in with that low belly, like you could pull it towards your spine, and then same kind of sensation in the upper abdominal low rib area. You can walk the right fingers forward, tenting them on the floor if that feels okay. Exhale. And then the right hand returns and the left hand returns, coming back to our quadruped, and we'll tuck the toes in, make our way to stand at the top of the mat. Take your time to get there if you need to kind of work some stuff out on the way. And when you're ready, we'll rise for our Tadasana. Maybe rotate the palms forward. Close the eyes for a second. Big inhale. Open the mouth and exhale. This glorious rise here, feeling those glutes a little awake. We'll start our sequence from here today Inhale, reach the arms forward and up. And our first peeling action, we'll take this first series a little bit slower. Let the right elbow fall down towards the floor and then unfurl the whole arm, letting the head tip towards the right. And then the next step is to lift the right heel, bend the right knee so you keep propped up on the ball of the right foot. We'll press the right heel down, inhale, lift back up to vertical, right arm reaches. And exhale, sit through a chair and we'll let the torso swing down and then rise back up to stand. Same thing on the other side. Left elbow peels down, let the head go that way, a bit of a side bend, and then you can pop that left heel up as you bend the knee. Press into the heel, inhale, lift, and exhale, sit back to your chair. We'll swing and rise. Same thing, both sides, one more time. Right elbow peels, you can lift that heel up as you side bend to the right, reaching the left arm up, press that heel down, inhale, lift, and swing it out through your chair. Left elbow peels down, maybe the heel lifts as you side bend here. Reach it all up, inhale. Exhale, this time we'll sit through our chair and swing, but pause at the bottom there with the arms flying back. You can even try interlacing those hands on the back of the pelvis at the sacrum. You can bend the elbows. To make that happen, I like to lift my torso on more of a diagonal, so make any of those adjustments that you need. Heading to a half kneel position, we'll slide the right leg back, lower that right knee very carefully, and untuck the toes. So we're in our 90-90 here. Turn that right glute on. You can keep holding the hands at the sacrum, and we'll open the chest up for a tiny back extension here. Don't let this pelvis tip on you. That's going to aggravate the low back. Keep the tailbone lengthening down. Rise back up to vertical, fingers to the floor. Tuck those back toes. We'll open up to our right for a goddess pose. So the right hip really externally rotates there. And inhale, open the arms wide. Exhale, pull the right elbow towards your right side and then side bend to the right. So I like to kind of hook my elbows somewhere on my body, and it helps remind me to lift through the left side. But you can, of course, let that be in a more kind of passive position next to you. Find what feels good there. Inhale through the center, both arms up. Same thing on the other side. Left elbow peels down. Oh, imagining you were like peeling an orange on this right side, peeling off some skin. Inhale, back to vertical. We'll turn the toes in, straighten these knees for a wide-legged forward fold. You can bring those hands on either side of the pelvis and start to hinge at the hips here. Bring a little bit of a bend to the knees to protect the posterior knee capsule. And then keep the hands on the pelvis or bring them to the floor. If you'd like, you can start to toggle the pelvis side to side, kind of like you were wagging your tail. And you'll get a little gentle mobility in that inner thigh area. Maybe even a crack. I just got one. Same thing we did in the thread the needle, where you're trying to keep that front body away from sagging to the floor. We want to keep that strength we cultivated with our core work. And then transitioning to a gate pose, we'll lower the left shin underneath us, still facing the side of the mat. Left hand points towards the front and the right leg reaches towards the back of the mat. Right arm can peel over the ear here. Keep opening up the side body. And then if you want, you can add a backstroke with this right arm, reaching it up to the back, down to the floor and forward. Letting your shoulder blade move along the ribs here, getting all of those beautiful upper back muscles going. And then we'll let this circle take us towards our quadruped for thread the needle. So turning, bringing that right hand to the floor and the right knee in. Inhale, left arm reaches up, and exhale, thread it under. Familiar sequence here. Inhale, open up, and exhale, thread it under. Keep holding on to that front body. One more time. We open up and pause. And then head to a modified side plank, anchor into the right hand and shin, and you can reach the left leg back as you open the pelvis up to this side of the mat here. You're welcome to keep the left foot on the floor or hover it. The third option here is to bend the left knee, and then just moving the knee, draw some small 1-inch circles. And what I want you to envision is the thigh bone in the hip socket, just making a tiny circle around the joint there. So really controlled, small movement, getting those hips going. If you're taking those circles, you can try the other way. One way probably feels more familiar. And then pause that all together. We'll all head to a down dog. So left hand and shin land, tuck the toes, and we'll lift the pelvis up to a bit of a down dog. Feel free to lift those heels way up here. And we'll walk the feet a little bit wide here. Let the heels fall to the left. So bringing a bit of a swivel into the pelvis, and then check in on the armpit area. If one side's sagging, try to pull it back up to neutral. You'll feel that stretch down the right leg. Lift the heels up, back through center, and you can try the other side, letting those heels fall towards the right. You can also bend the left knee here and lift the heel as we did in our side bend. That'll give a bit more room. Coming back to center, this is our kind of final moment here. We'll step the left foot as far forward as you can without picking up the hands, and then step the right foot as far forward as you can. Step the left foot back and the right foot back. And then start with the right foot stepping forward, the left foot, and the right and the left. So we're taking these alternating kind of wide chair legs as we step forward. But the goal is to keep the length and integrity in our spine and really have this activity happening at the hip joint. So creasing in that hip, not moving by curving the spine. Next time your left foot steps forward, keep a bit of a bend in that knee. We'll pause in this bent knee pyramid variation. You're welcome to bring a block under the hand to give a little bit more lift. But I want you to hunt for a neutral pelvis here. So keep deepening the left hip crease and kind of encouraging it towards the back of the mat a bit. You can always bring a hand behind the pelvis to sense what's going on there. Bending that front knee as much as you need. Exhale through the mouth. And then walk the fingertips forward. We'll step the back foot in, bend your knees nice and deeply at the top here, and we'll rise to stand. Inhale, arms lift. Heading to the other side. Starting with this peel action, the left elbow pulls down as that right arm reaches up. You can lift the left heel, and then left heel lowers. Inhale, extend, and exhale for your chair swing. Right elbow peels down, option to lift that right heel as you kind of dangle from the left fingers. Press the heel down, inhale, and exhale, chair swing. Hopefully this time we'll pull the left elbow down. That chair swing, you can feel the opening in the back of the legs a bit more. Heel lowers, inhale, lift, exhale, swing. We're already more open, and the right elbow peels down, right heel lifts. And inhale, extend. This time we'll exhale, swing, but pause at the bottom there, flying those arms back like the pinkies could reach up to the ceiling. And then if you need to adjust the torso a little bit, we'll interlace those hands, bending the elbows and bringing the thumb side towards the back of the pelvis. Here we're feeling that our chest is opening, kind of like our shoulder joint and shoulder blades could slightly pull towards the spine. We'll weight into the right foot, heading to half kneel. Left foot steps back, lower that knee directly under the hip, untuck the toes. Inhale for your lift here, left glute turns on. And then we just peel the chest open. Exhaling a bit to help you consolidate the front of the ribs. Tailbone keeps reaching down. And rise back to vertical, fingertips to the floor. Tuck those back toes, we'll open for our goddess. So external rotation in the left hip. Inhale, let's reach the arms up. Exhale, left elbow pulls towards the waist. You can, of course, add that little hook if you want, if that feels good in your body, or just keep it kind of drawing into the waist. Inhale, arms extend up, back to vertical, and exhale, side bend to the right, pulling that elbow in. Inhale, back to vertical, feet come parallel, turning those toes in for a wide-legged forward fold. A little bit of a bend in those knees as we hinge at the hips. Keep that spine long. And of course, a little bit of a bend in the knees. If you want, you can add this toggling of the tail side to side. Continuing to lift the front body away from the mat. And then we'll head to our gate pose. Carefully lower that right shin underneath us, still facing this side of the mat. The right hand turns to face the front and the left leg reaches back. Left arm peels over the ear, and then you have that option to add the backstroke in. Letting the left shoulder blade move along the ribs as you move the arm here. If you're taking this circle, we'll let the next one take us towards quadruped, left hand and shin land. And then inhale, open for your twist with the right arm, and exhale, thread that needle, reaching it under the left. Inhale, open. Seeing if you can check in and notice how the sensations have changed from the first time we did this. Inhale, open, we'll pause there. Take this into a modified side plank. Weight into the left hand and shin, and reach the right leg towards the back of the mat. Option to add that lift in the right leg. And the third option here is to bend the right knee and draw those minuscule circles with the right knee. Getting that micro activation of these muscles around the hip. And then you can take it the other way if you tried that option. Sometimes going this small is like a little harder than going in a really big range. It's sometimes harder to do less, but that's okay. We're peeling away the layers. If you're circling, we'll let that go. Everyone will bring right hand and shin back to the mat. Tuck your toes and we'll lift to our down dog. Really letting that pelvis be the peak of our pose here. If you want to take those swivel heels again, you'll walk the feet a little bit wide. And then let the heels fall to the right, pelvis swiveling with them. Keeping the armpits nice and lifted here. Option to pop that left heel up if that feels better. We'll rise back through center on the toes, and the heels go to the left. Of course, this time if the right heel wants to lift, go for it. And then rise back through center. We're going to take our alternating walks to that wide-legged chair position. So right foot steps forward this time. Keep those hands anchored. And then the left foot and the right foot back and the left foot back. Now, if keeping your hands anchored means you can step a foot forward, then that's the right range to do right now. So we don't want to round our back and force the foot forward, as that's going to start to compromise really our core connection, but it also gets the action into the back. And we want this moment, this action to be in the hip. So we're trying to be really intentional about that process here. And next time your right foot steps forward first, you'll pause for that bent knee pyramid. Remembering we're trying to find neutral pelvis so you can adjust the hands, kind of using blocks or books or something to lift the floor towards you, if that helps you kind of find that neutral position more. Great alternative is also to take this to a tilted crescent, using the hands on the thighs here. Exhale. And then from here, we're going to start our wind down. You can head to a seated twist if you like, or go straight to your back. If you're going to take the seated twist, you can let the feet turn to the right side of the mat and then pull that left knee underneath you to sit down. Of course, you can always extend the leg out if that gives a little more room in your hips. So again, find what feels good for you. We'll side bend to the right here, maybe peeling the left arm over the ear. If you're on your back, you're welcome to make figure four legs, kind of similar to our seated twist position. Rising through vertical, if you're in the seated twist, we'll head to the other leg, and we're going to do that by unwrapping and coming back to the side of the mat. So you'll turn to your left, let your feet kind of follow with you, swiveling around the mat until you come all the way back this way, feet facing the side of the mat, and lower that right knee under you. Option to extend the bottom leg, of course, and then we'll side bend over to the left, reaching that right arm over the ear, peeling away those last things that aren't helping us on this Monday. Exhale. If you're on the floor, you can switch your figure four legs. And then seated twist people, you can lift back up to vertical. We'll just uncross and come to your back, or really any position that works for you for Shavasana. I don't want to give the impression that you have to lay on your back. Really find any position that lets you release and release tension, relax into the floor, something that makes you feel safe. And that doesn't have to look like what anyone else finds safe. When you land in your position, we'll take just a few moments here, letting your breath be in its natural rhythm, feeling a little bit of a hum of the movement we've done. Trying to let any thoughts that come up just float by you. You might notice them, they might come into your mind, but that doesn't mean you have to hop on the ride with them. It's like a roller coaster car that you just watch go through the loading area. You have the time today and you'd like to stay longer, you can mute the video or your computer, leave the meeting, and stay as long as you'd like to really let this seal in. Find this moment of down regulation. You are ready to move today. Lengthen your next inhale. Maybe open the mouth for your next exhale. One more, just like that. And if it seems good to you, on your next inhale, you can reach the limbs away from each other, getting some type of lengthy stretch here, like you were first thing in the morning, waking up. And as you exhale, release that effort. And maybe come to a seat if that makes sense for you. If not, you stick with any position that works for a moment of closing. Wherever you are, just taking stock for a moment, a quick inventory, how you feel not only physically, but spiritually, kind of emotionally. Little diagnostic moment. And remember that we always have the power through our movement to make really tangible shifts in our mental and our energetic kind of planes. So I'm so glad you joined me today for your practice. I'm honored. Thank you so much. The light in me sees and honors the light in each of you. Happy Monday. All right, Monday crew. I hope you are feeling good in your bodies. I'm back tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday. If I don't see you, have a wonderful week, and thank you so much. Thanks. Thank you all. Happy Monday.